Hey everybody, my name is Andres,
I'm Scott.
I'm Abe.
and thanks for tuning in to Between Two Stands, a show that takes a closer look at the personalities that make up the Detroit Symphony Orchestra.
Okay, so it is my turn to host our quiz show, and I'm very excited about it. So are you guys ready? This is another segment of Stump the Musi.
Yeah.
So
Ready as I could ever be.
Yeah,
our,
exactly.
Yeah.
okay, so I think in order to buzz in, we should do like the sons and family members of Bach. So for the first one, it's Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach.
Carl Philipp
Okay.
Emanuel
Carl.
Bach. Okay.
Okay. Great.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Question number 1. Which composer suffered from triskaidekaphobia, or the fear of the number 13?
Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach.
All right?
Mahler?
No.
Damn it! Shit.
For
Shoot.
the
Carl
steal,
Philippe Emanuel Bach.
Abe?
Bruckner.
No. No. It is Schoenberg,
Oh.
which kind of makes sense. It's kind of weird. Moses and Aaron, actually, he removed the extra A from Aaron because then it wouldn't have 13 letters.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's kind of crazy.
Okay.
And then being the 12-tone composer, I thought that was like
Right.
fascinating.
Right. Actually,
Right.
you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, Mahler is he was scared of the Ninth Symphony curse.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I was. That's kind of where my mind went. So he tried
I
to
totally get it.
He tried to write the 10th Symphony before the Ninth Symphony, and then he ended up writing the Ninth Symphony and dying.
Well, and Das Lied was kind of like, I don't want to write the Ninth Symphony because then I'll die.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And he did.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
okay, we
then-
both nailed that one.
Weird extra fact about this is he was afraid of days numbered 13 and actually did die on July 13th, 1951.
Wow.
Kind of crazy.
Wow.
Okay, question. So that is no points for anybody.
Yeah.
I'm doing great.
Oh man.
All right, question number 2. Which composer vowed
Wait, how do
to-
we buzz in? How do we buzz in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wilhelm Friedmann Bach.
Wilhelm Friedmann
Great.
Bach.
Okay. Which composer vowed to, quote, never compose again, end quote, after his wife and 2 children tragically died? I'll give you a hint. Italian.
Oh.
Wow.
Yikes. Oh, Wilhelm Friedmann Bach.
Go for it.
Verdi?
It is Verdi.
Yes. Yes.
He also had like an operatic flop in Un Giorno di Regno, or King for a Day. Like all that happened at once, and he apparently he was quite young at the time, and then he eventually started writing again.
Yeah,
and remarried.
you know, I actually saw a museum, an exhibit about that. I didn't know that it was because his family died, but I know he stopped writing for a while, and then he was coaxed to write again, and he wrote one of his most famous operas after that hiatus, which I wish I remembered it, but what the name was, but
I don't remember what the first one was, but yeah, he wrote several like major
ones right after,
Yeah.
which is like, wow, I'm glad he didn't completely stop, right?
Yeah. Interesting life of Verdi, also politically active and other things. But yeah, I thought that I'll never compose again. It was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 1
I'm
point.
on the board,
for
baby.
Andre.
I'm on the board.
All right, so to buzz in for question number 3, let's do Anna Magdalena Bach.
Okay.
All right, question 3. Which composer kissed the skulls of Beethoven and Schubert?
Anna Magdalena Bach.
Go for it.
Bruckner.
That was Bruckner. Bruckner had a
That guy's weird.
Okay, yeah, I would say a lot of composers are strange, but
He had an
Bruckner
affinity for death.
is definitely
Yeah.
a weirdo. Like he's a strange man. When he found out their corpses were going to be exhumed, he made sure that he was there and like kissed and maybe did other things to the skulls of Beethoven and Schubert, which is like very odd.
That's really weird, man. That's just.
But he was. I would also remember hearing that he mummified, and then his. I think when he was exhumed for his 100th birthday or something like that, and then his face was reconstructed on his body.
Dude, that guy needs to chill. Just chill. Don't be so weird.
It's really strange.
It's so strange. Well, I think also like he only had one picture of his mother or something, and it was after she had died they took the picture, and that was the only picture he had. It was like it's just a very unusual person.
And he had it in his studio, right? So if he was teaching. So
yes,
yeah.
Odd.
All of the students saw it.
Very weird.
I know. Okay, so this is getting interesting. We've got a tied game, 1-1. All right.
On the board.
What do we buzz in for?
Oh, so this next we've already done Wilhelm Friedman, Carl Philipp Emanuel, Johann Christian.
Christian.
I just want to point out that Scott's doing this from memory, remembering all
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's impressive. At least it looks like he is.
I am. I hope I'm not screwing anything up.
Which one again? I distracted.
Johann Christian.
Johann Christian, great.
Yes. Okay. So, question number 4. We got a tie game. Which composer had a brain tumor that caused them to smell a non-existent burning rubber? Let me know if you need a hint.
Should we take a hint?
We can. Yeah, sure.
American.
Johann Christian Bach.
Go for it, Abe.
Copeland.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Guess I got a freebie here. Johann Christian. What's Bernstein? I don't know.
No, it is Gershwin.
Really?
Oh,
Gershwin.
okay.
And he died when it got removed.
Oh, wow.
That's okay.
Yes. But apparently, like during one performance of his piano concerto, he like just kind of spaced out for a second there, and a part of it was because of this brain tumor that was diagnosed as very fast growing, but now they think it might be slow grow, like had not have been as fast growing as they originally thought, and during the removal, he died.
And he died very young, right? Like, wasn't he like 36 or 35? Like in his 30s, I think.
I think he was in his 30s. I think it might have been 38, but I'm not sure. But yeah, and apparently it caused him to have like phantom smells and everything. You're noticing a theme. Like I looked up the maladies of.
Yeah, seriously. Man, wow. Okay, so still 1-1. I don't know if that. I guess this
Still
is a good
1-1.
game. I don't know.
It's definitely a good game.
We're equally sucking. Abe.
Scott's winning.
Yeah, Scott's winning.
My research is odd.
Yeah.
But okay, so I'm trying to think of another Bach, and I don't know if I have one off the top of my head. So we're gonna buzz in with Johann Sebastian Bach.
Okay.
All right.
For the win. For the win.
Okay, so this is the 5th and final question, unless we have a tiebreaker.
Okay.
Which I have ready if we need it.
Okay.
Johann Sebastian Bach, question number 5. Here we go.
Okay.
Which composer lost their singing voice by accidentally drinking nitric acid at a young age? German composer.
Johann Sebastian Bach. Wagner.
No.
Okay. I guess, yeah.
German composer. Uh, nitric acid, huh? Trying to think of one that would sing.
Well, they didn't apparently.
Oh yeah. Well, apparently he lost his singing voice. I don't know, man. I don't know. No, he's Austrian. Oh God. I have no idea, dude. No idea.
It was Weber, Carl Maria von Weber.
Oh,
Interesting. Okay.
would not have guessed
Yes.
that.
Yeah, it was like weird. I don't know why nitric acid was around, but like his father had kept it in like a bottle that was mistaken for some water or something.
Mouthwash.
And, yeah, so he drank it and like had I think it almost killed him, but it
Wow.
ruined his singing voice, and then he decided
Interesting.
to I think play organ and other things
Wow.
and yeah. Very strange. It's amazing any of these composers survived. Looking up all the illnesses that they suffered, and like it was the funniest one. I found an article where they talked about maladies of the composers, and it was like depression. How many composers suffered from like clinic depression?
All
It's
of
like
them?
all of them.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Kind of fascinating, or some mental illness.
Well, seeing how it's 1-1 still, we need a tiebreaker.
We need the tiebreaker. I'm hoping that this will decide it. Otherwise, I might just have to think of something
Easy.
to settle the score, which I can do.
Okay.
So, okay, the tiebreaker. Let's because I ran out of Bachs that I know of.
How about corrugated box?
We could always go with PDQ.
Oh, perfect! PDQ Bach. Let's do it. Okay. Or you can also say Peter Schickele.
Okay.
All right. About which composer did Prokofiev say he was like, quote, Bach on the wrong notes, end quote?
PDQ Bach. Shostakovich.
No.
Really? Interesting.
I can see why you would think so.
Oh,
Yeah, they had a history.
PDQ Bach, Stravinsky?
It is Stravinsky!
Nice.
Andres is the winner!
Yes!
Nice job, Andres.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Sorry if I made those extra hard. I didn't know how hard they would be. Like I knew the Bruckner one before, but the others, like I think maybe I would have gotten the Gershwin one with the brain tumor, but yeah.
Yeah, you don't really study the melodies of composers too often.
No. Cool facts though. Like those are
They're
awesome.
really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's kind of interesting too. Like in studying all of these great artists, I remember, I don't know if y'all ever watched Nanette. They talked about Hannah Gadsby talked about she was an art major, and talked about Van Gogh and the yellows that he used, and apparently that was like a side effect of the medication that he took.
Wow.
And I definitely think there's a lot of correlation between who these people, like the art of these people, and the suffering that they had in
Absolutely.
in other ways. Like Ravel also was obsessed with numbers and repetition. So Bolero
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like kind of
His
as repetitive as it gets.
Right.
Bolero wasn't just a bet then that he could do it, that he could write.
Well, it might have been. I mean, I've definitely heard that, that story as well. But congrats, Andres.
Nice job, Andres.
awesome.
And with
Thank
that,
you.
guys, I am going to lead you to interview Amanda. So, Larry, take it away.
I tried to come up with a joke about social distancing, but this is about as close as I can get.
Thank you, Larry. Our guest today is second flute Amanda Blaikie. Hailing from Norwalk, Connecticut, Amanda earned college degrees from Principia College, the University of Miami, and the Manhattan School of Music. She held positions in the Battle Creek Symphony, Miami City Ballet, Sarasota Opera, and the Michigan Opera Theater before winning her current position with the DSO in 2015. Amanda taught at Oakland University and teaches both in the community and privately. Welcome, Amanda.
Hey.
Welcome. Woo!
What's going
Thanks
on?
for being here.
Thanks.
Yeah. How are you? How you been?
I am great. I am, I'm doing really well.
Awesome. Keeping busy?
Keeping busy, and it's definitely hot outside, so I don't mind being outside at the moment.
Inside. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for being here. We always have the first question be the same for every guest. So, what is on your music stand right now?
Okay, so on my music stand are some Verdi opera fantasies by a composer named Riccialdi. And I absolutely love these. There's like a compilation of 5 of these that are not that well known or commonly done. So I've been digging into those, actually.
Is this is a solo flute fantasy where they take like all the themes from some of Verdi's operas and put it together?
Yeah, it's flute and piano. So that's basically taking some of the most famous themes and arias, and it's just really fun because you have some very technical moments and you have some really lyrical, pretty moments. So it's really fun.
You can take the girl out of the opera, but you can't take the opera out of the girl.
That's right.
That's awesome. Actually, kind of along those lines, you used to play with Michigan Opera Theater. You used to play with Miami Ballet, and now you're in the orchestra, which are such different forms of the similar thing. What differences have you noticed between those 3 things?
There's actually quite a big difference. Of course, aside from being in a pit and really not being very well seen and not being on stage, I first started off with Miami City Ballet, and one of the very first ballets we did was actually Afternoon of a Faun by Debussy.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I got to play as principal flute. I got to play that about 13 times.
Oh, perfect.
Actually incredible because of those solos. But another instance is we did, it was Sleeping Beauty with Michigan Opera Theater, because Michigan Opera Theater also does ballet, Nutcracker. We did Swan Lake. But I remember doing Sleeping Beauty, and it was like 3 hours long, and it's just constant playing.
Oh, yeah.
Very long as well. But with ballet, for one, you get a lot of flute playing because it's just very perfect, kind of like the perfect instrument for ballet and dancing. And so you have to be kind of on your toes as far as solos go constantly. And I remember waiting until 2.5 hours in, and Misty Copeland and I had a duet. She was doing a solo, and I had this huge, it's the Bluebird solo, and it's sometimes an excerpt. And so I remember just having to be awake and be focused and just be like, yep, I'm going to nail it.
Is that when she came to, that's when she played at MOT, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Maybe 2014, 2015,
Yeah.
Towards the end of my time there. So that was
stole
really
the show. Of course.
Well, we had our duet, so I kind of
Yes.
our duet.
Yeah.
Totally kidding.
That is pretty cool.
Between the length of time and, of course, with opera, of course, there's just gorgeous singing. It's not as much, continuous playing as ballet. But, like in Sarasota Opera, we did Don Carlos, which is 5 hours.
Oh.
And
I love the opening to that, the horn opening.
Don Carlos. And you'll like this. One of the performances of Don Carlos, I ran a half marathon beforehand.
Oh,
so I did
my gosh.
marathon, then played a 5-hour opera.
That sounds exhausting. Most exhausting day ever.
It
But
really
your
was.
lungs are probably like prime for it, though.
I had like barely anything left, and I had to
Yeah.
play a 5-hour opera at principal flute.
Oh, my
Man.
goodness.
So that was
Even, I mean, we don't necessarily play a whole lot of opera. We probably do it. I think we have been doing it like once a year at the end of the season. But something that I noticed is just the pacing of it. There's so much checking in with the conductor, more so than I feel like in other cases, because like there's so much ebb and flow with the tempo. So like I just noticed that you kind of have to be tuned in and very like focused throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, really focused, and I feel like you have to have your eyes on the conductor constantly. Like I think in symphonic orchestral playing, you can kind of have your head down and play a little bit sometimes. With opera, singers might be different from night to night. They might take a different tempo. Yeah. They might stretch a note, and so there's really a lot of flexibility, and you have to be just on your toes a lot, which I think makes you a really good musician, flexible, being really flexible and really musical that way. But
I've definitely noticed that as well, because I spent some time in the Houston Grand Opera, and the opera orchestras definitely have a tight way to be flexible.
Right. It's like they just do it together.
And there are a lot of things that can go wrong. I feel like in terms of like staging, sets, music wise. Choreography, whatever, but you can get away with more in the pit, which is kind of nice, right? I mean, like
visually,
yeah, exactly.
I've definitely taken a little break during a Mozart opera before and gone out for 20 minutes and come back. So that's
one of the things I noticed in being in an opera orchestra, it's like some of the greatest musical moments like ever written. You're playing it and it's just really fulfilling. And then the entire opera stops so that there can be like a big aria for whatever soloist is singing, and it's lovely. Yeah. But then I'm just, as a horn player, I'm just sitting there for like the next 10 minutes, like waiting for my part to go again.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Well, this is beautiful and lovely, but okay.
And then you got to get creative with like it's like, okay, when the soprano hits the high G, like, that's when like you got to tune back in. Okay, like my part's coming up, but until then you can zone out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andres, my mic, my it cut out for a second. Can you just sing that?
No. But okay, well, we were also curious, during this unprecedented time, what you've been doing and to keep busy, like, what have you been filling your days with?
Okay, so a couple answers. One is I have a couple of recording projects. One is this virtual duet series that I came up with during the whole quarantine as a way to do duets with my students or anyone else. And so I'm recording 24 duets, and I'm doing like a mini lesson on them and talking about different topics that apply to each duet. And then people are basically purchasing them and then being able to play along with them at different tempos, both parts.
That's great.
It's very time-consuming, but it's really fun. And I've had people from England and Canada and all over the world buying them. So it's really awesome. So I'm in the middle of kind of continually adding a new video as often as I can. So that's one.
Can they play along with you too? Like, is that the idea? Like they'll record along with you?
So they'll just basically play the video, and then I'll like have the metronome going, and I'll count us off, and then they'll play along, and then we'll switch parts, and then we'll do it faster. So it's really fun, and I've gotten great responses. So it's been really cool.
Very cool.
So, are there like standard duets that you're doing? Are these like things that everybody knows? Because one thing as a horn player that I've always been jealous of is like flute repertoire, the Baroque especially. Yeah. Like the old, flute's one of the oldest instruments that we know of. So like having that music, but is that what you're recording, or is it kind of a mixed bag of everything?
It's a very specific method book actually that I really was doing it because I have some high schoolers working through it. So it's the Rubank Advanced Method Volume 1 for flute. Okay. And there are 4 duets in there, and I thought, gosh, they can't play with me. I might as well do some sort of video recording and then add tips and tricks along the way and then make this available for anyone. So it just kind of started off as an inspiration for my own students and then became this whole project. So it's been kind of fun.
That's awesome. That's a great way to keep it busy.
It's hard to do it on video too, because one thing in all the multiple recording projects that have been going on during the pandemic, I've noticed if you try to play along with a recording, the hardest part, just if it's only audio, is the first note, because it's sort of like, okay, I'm ready. And then you hear it, and it's like, oops,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Right. And so I have the metronome going too, just to help. And then at the very end, we don't play with the metronome, so that way we have a little bit of musicality and liberty. But yeah, it's been really fun, really more time consuming than I thought, just because each video is a good 12 to 15 minutes long, and then I'm editing the movies and choosing which parts to keep and then making it nice.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I mean, that's great because it's helping people too, get better. And you said there was something else too.
Yeah. So also I've been getting ready for baby. I am 6 months pregnant, as you guys know.
Yes.
Our DSO family is growing.
Yeah. That's very exciting.
And I've been trying to get the baby room ready, which is still kind of under construction. But planning, just all sorts of stuff, educating myself, watching videos,
yeah,
just picking out stuff that we're going to need. So it's kind of a nice time to enjoy getting ready for the baby and having a life change. So yeah.
Seriously, that's really exciting. And your husband, Brett, how's he handling that transition?
He is so excited. He cannot wait. He's just constantly, I don't know, he's just beside himself.
Yeah.
We're all so excited for you.
Yeah,
that's great.
Hey, so baby girl coming in October.
Awesome. Yeah.
October 22nd.
We'll keep an eye out for that. Hopefully, we'll be coming to work around then, returning, we can meet her.
So I should be seeing you all and then taking another leave. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, nice.
Of course.
You're gonna keep
I'll
this.
see you for a little bit, and then I'll be like, bye.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess we talked about the baby. Can you tell us? You had a very cool wedding, like on Belle Isle. Like, can you just hopefully we can get some pictures of that. But that was pretty unique.
Yeah, so we're almost at our 1 year anniversary in August, but Brett and I got married in the gardens at the Belle Isle Conservatory, and it was just, it was really beautiful. I mean, that gorgeous
conservatory.
It's just so beautiful, and I just kind of knew, I've always thought that would be perfect as a backdrop for a wedding. And so there's that beautiful lawn in front with flowers and everything, and it just turned out really beautiful. And I was nervous because it was August, and I thought this could be really hot. And it was like 81 degrees or something with a breeze, so it was fine. And then we had the reception at the Detroit Yacht Club, also on Belle Isle. So It was like a Belle Isle getaway. It was fun.
Yeah, Michigan doesn't have tons of perfect days, I've noticed, but you guys, it seemed like you guys got one. That's awesome.
We got a good day.
Yeah.
It didn't rain, and it was beautiful. It was really perfect.
Was it important to you for it to be in town here? Just because you've been in MOT, it's so shout out to our friends there, and now the symphony. Was that a thing that both of you wanted?
Yeah, I was fine with it because I've been here 8 years now, and my family is so spread out, and I haven't lived at home since I was 16, since I went to a boarding school at 16. So to me, it was well, this is really my home. I have so many friends, colleagues, Brett's family's here. Mm-hmm. So really, it was my few family members, can come and make the trip, and they were perfectly happy to do it. So. It was fun to make it here in Detroit.
That's awesome.
It was nice to be able to be there. All of us were there, and it just was such a great day. So very cool.
So Amanda, outside of music, what are some outlets for you? That kind of that you can do when you're not practicing flute or thinking about music.
So I am a runner. It's kind of become a little different now that I'm 6 months pregnant.
Yeah,
I was
extra weight.
Yeah, it's a little heavier. I feel like I'm carrying a basketball on my stomach.
Yeah.
But yeah, so until about a month ago, I've been running, and I probably could still. I would just need a better band or something. But I've been still biking. I love biking or really anything. I mean, I've been walking probably 2 to 5 miles a day. I try to do. I have a prenatal exercise app, that I try to use. But basically, my outside DSO and flute activities include being outside, whether it's sports of any kind, and actually now gardening, more so now that I have a house.
Vegetables or flowers?
Well, flowers for now, but we have plans for a vegetable garden next year. It's just kind of too much with the baby right now.
Yeah.
My family, my sister and mom they professionally do landscaping and design. And so I've kind of grown up in the gardening, landscaping world. So it's been fun to actually dip my own green thumb into the earth and make it, prettier and more my own here at home.
My wife Shayna and I did the opposite. You guys are doing baby and then garden. We're doing like garden. Let's see if we can keep that alive. And then we'll kind of graduate, to like, I don't know, maybe a fish. And then, and then and then humans later on.
Yep.
But hey, to each their own,
We've been gardening pretty much since we got here a couple years ago, but it just seems like each summer we can add a little bit more or do a little something different. So it's been really fun.
Do you find that when you're going on your walks and you're doing your outside time that it's like absolutely necessary for mental health just to like get out of the house? Like that's been my biggest thing is if I don't leave the house, it just drives me crazy. So that's helped me put the steps in.
Yeah, well, especially during this quarantine, I really wasn't going anywhere being pregnant.
Yeah.
Even the grocery store. So really walks were like my sanity.
Yeah.
So going on walks and just sitting on the patio have been tremendously helpful.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like even just a small patch of outdoor space is like incredibly valuable right now,
Yeah, and I know that for a while there, our weather was not cooperating.
Yeah.
So it did get very frustrating.
Yeah.
But still to be able, even when it was like 45 degrees, I would just sit outside in the sun as much as I could.
Yeah.
Well, when the sun's shining, it definitely changes my mood so much.
Yeah,
I know.
And
it has been for a while. So you said you run and you mentioned like you do some other sports, right? You did at one point.
Yeah, grew up playing soccer, cross country, and track actually all through high school. They tried me to continue in college, and I was like, I've got to focus on the flute now. I've got to really put in the work.
Yeah.
So I kind of said no, but. Always have remained active because for me it is a stress reliever and just a good sense of balance to my life. So
I remember I did cross country too. I was decent. I was I just didn't enjoy it at all. And I remember one day, like every day we'd have to run like just like warm up 5 or 6 miles every day. And like one day I'm just like running and I'm like, wait, I hate this. And then I just turned around, and then I quit. It was like such a like there's like a moment where I was just like, wait, I'm not doing this anymore. So that was my career as in cross country. I did track though, which I enjoyed, but just the long distance is brutal, man.
It is.
It is.
I was just like, no, I'm done.
I'm done. I actually started off sprinting with the 100 and the 200 and the 4x4.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think soccer and track, were in one part of the season. So I had to choose at one point. And then I ended up adding cross country. And my dad was a runner. So the long distance at first was a little weird. But I ended up making it to state. And it was became better at it than I realized. So... and it was fun.
Yeah.
Fun in a mentally tough way.
I had a very different experience because the only sport I did like really seriously younger was baseball, and then when I got into high school, it was basically like you could join the high school baseball team, which I didn't really want to do because I was so into the band scene and everything else. So I didn't really get into like steady fitness anything. And then I got into running a little bit later, and now I've done a half marathon, and that's as much as I think I need to do. But I was a little bit more on Andres' side.
I saw you on like your last mile, dude.
That was great.
That was awesome.
For everybody out there that has friends that run marathons and half marathons, go and see them. Like, it really does help.
It does.
Just in the, like, as a backstory, like, Scott was doing a marathon, and like the last mile maybe went past my house. So like, yep. I just like rolled out with like a cup of coffee and like pajamas, and I'm like, oh, well, let's see if Scott's here. I'm like, just waking up. Scott comes down just sweating, having been like you were on like mile 14, just like, and you hugged me, dude. You were like, oh, dude, thank you so much. It was very funny.
It really does make the run for you.
Yeah. Well, hey, Amanda, it's so good to catch up with you, and wonderful to talk to you. We are going to switch it up a bit. We usually ask Rite of Spring to be sung, but we want you to sing another Stravinsky favorite, Petrushka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
Yeah, awesome. Woo! Perfect. That was the flute part, right?
That's the very beginning. The very beginning flute part.
Actually, a good way to start that. Nice. No hesitation. I love it.
Nice.
Well, hey, Amanda, wonderful to see you, and hopefully
Thanks
we'll be
for having
hanging
me.
soon. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Scott, okay to see you too.
I get it.
Thank you guys so much. It's been really fun to see you and chat.
Sounds good. Take care, Amanda.
All right,
bye.
thanks.